To talk a little bit more about this, we're going to bring in former Senator George LeMieux. It's great to have you with us.
Thanks, John.
All right, so when you look at this, you know, and as you've run for public office before, there are certain things that you do during your campaign, and something that Mayor Bill de Blasio did was try to reach out to minority communities who felt repressed by the New York City police officers, repressed by the stop and frisk policy under previous police commissioners and mayors. Now we're living in this reality where this has taken place. You know that when this happened, Mayor Bill de Blasio had one of those oh crap moments, and what have I done and how do I get out of this?
Well, let's hope he did, because he has caused some of this problem and the problem he's seeing with the protesters now, because as you said, when he ran for office, he in some ways ran against the police department. I mean, let's remember that the renaissance that's happened in New York, that's allowed it to be the financial capital of the world, a place with some of the highest real estate values in the world, is because they got a police situation there that works. You know, we remember in the 70s and early 80s how bad it was before Rudy Giuliani became mayor. New York has been functioning because it's been a safe place. But de Blasio, in his campaign, was instigating the police, and now he has the problem of trying to put the genie back in the bottle. His buddy, Al Sharpton, is a professional, protester. He profits off protesting. It's who he is. It is his image. He needs to get to Sharpton and some of these other people who are supposedly his friends and tell him to stand down.
But having said that, they were asking for peaceful protests. No one was, except I know there was a small group that was saying kill the cops, but I don't think Sharpton had anything to do with that group. They were asking for peaceful protests. No one was going out there encouraging people to go out and take the lives of those two innocent police officers.
No, absolutely not. No one was encouraging that, but as you said, there are spin-offs and other folks who show up for these protests, which make things very difficult. And what the mayor is saying now is the right thing, is let Officer Liu, let Officer Ramos have their funerals, let the families mourn and grieve, just like we do with military folks who have died. You know, we've had protesters at military funerals, and we've taken some steps to prevent that. You need to let the families have their time of peace and respect the dead.
But isn't the problem, and Al Sharpton should know this, he should know better, that there is, the line is blurry between telling people to go out and protest and the way that he does that, a lot of times inciting kind of a mob effect from these situations, when in fact he doesn't have all the facts when he starts these
Are you saying that Al Sharpton doesn't always have the facts?
I'm saying that Al Sharpton doesn't always have the motive of those directly involved in these types of situations in mind, in front of his own motives. I mean, what happened after these two cops were killed? We hear Al Sharpton saying he is receiving death threats.
Right.
So I think, I think maybe what you're getting at here, George, is that it's a very blurry line between trying to associate yourself with the protest and the folks who might misinterpret what you're trying to say.
Well, if you make Al Sharpton your friend, you have problems in politics to start with, because you have to govern. And Al Sharpton is a protest profiteer. The more controversy, the more attention to himself, the more he can use that for his own, personal wealth building and all the things that he does to become a celebrity. So de Blasio needs to draw down on this supposed friendship with Sharpton and tell him to stand down until after these funerals and let everybody take a breath.
Some people have accused the president of also adding to the problem. Do you think President Obama needs to say more?
I don't think he needs to say more. I think that when he has spoken on these issues, instead of potentially rising above them and being a transformative figure on issues of race, he has brought us back to more of a polarized discussion.
But like de Blasio, doesn't he need to distance himself from Sharpton too? Because Sharpton has been kind of his point man on race.
He was just at the White House.
Exactly.
I mean, to have Al Sharpton at a meeting at the White House is amazing to me. So, if the president would focus on maybe some of the other things that are we're grappling with in this country, not try to insert himself every time there's a death. I mean, there are lots of folks of all different races, creed, and cultures who are dying every day. Right. Remember, Liu and Ramos, not white cops, right?
The irony has not been talked about a lot.
The irony of all this is that, this is supposedly a attack to get revenge for the death of the two African Americans who died in interactions with police officers, and we have an Hispanic and a Chinese man who were killed.
Not exactly the man,
innocent,
in the situation.
Completely innocent.
Former Senator George LeMieux is going to stick around and keep talking about this, more of the political implications of this, and the topic of race in politics. We'll be right back. America's Forum continues here on Newsmax TV.